Alright, so here are the to me figures after a quick touch-up. And I've used some of the glass bead gel to add another layer of glisten onto that one's base. And here are my two demonstration space boxes. None of these as yet complete, about 4 by 4 by 3 inches deep. And one thing that I decided is that, you know, on its own, unless it's lost in the space swamp, it's kind of lonely having just one of them in there. So this Palmer figure gets to have at least a space chimp to help keep him company, but then it obscures the painting in the background. What am I going to do next? Well, the only thing to do is to try smaller scale figures. So at least here the guy can be with his friend examining the odd ice features. And with this scale, you can actually sort of approach telling a story, as it were. So the emphasis switched to smaller figures. I'd call these HO scale, 1:64 to 1:72 scale, somewhere in there. There's some of the little copies of the Mark Space Patrol figures, which I painted. Some giant spaceman copies. There's a couple of the Golden Astronaut multiple toy maker posed astronauts, and here's just a bunch of LP toys. Miniature 1:72. That one's a little bit larger there in the back. There's some LP toys aliens. I've used them in these some of the photograph pieces that I've shown. There's a group of Airfix astronauts. And this is a little cute little dinosaur from a dollar store set. There's another one there I'm going to get to. Here's some of the LP Toys Golden Astronaut figures. I actually kind of think they're distinctive looking enough on their own. And then just little bits of plastic that can serve as like equipment or just structures to help take up space. And two of my moon rocks there painted globs of great stuff, foam insulation, and then in the back, a pair of hypodermic needle covers that I spirited away from the doctor's office. They look sort of like pylons for a power station or something like that. And I always keep the smaller figures separated up in these gumball machine globes in this container as just sort of a to-go kit. So whenever the urge hits, I'm ready to make some space art. Interesting. With a little macro lens photography, I can make a secondary image to be printed or projected and then painted. You see, you can have the physical piece or the two-dimensional resultant picture or both. And here are more of the space boxes. Some of these are more or less complete. This one needs some work on the sky, but I love the bottom. And the sides and the bottom all got work so they can hang like in a gallery setting and not look incomplete. Very proud of the bottom on this one. The crackle paste and the glass bead gel. And this one had sort of an urban thing going on. You need to do more urban ones. The car, space car in there. That's going to be cool. Everyone's going to want a Steve Nyland space box. Which is like Kinder Toy type vehicles. That's a slurry of the crackle paste and just whatever mixed water was handy. And I'd love to be able to find out where to get more of these. Came with in a cheese basket, gift basket with cheeses. Maybe that's what I should do, shop for out-of-season cheese baskets. But I have yet to get on places like Craigslist and start looking for interesting little wooden boxes to use in my projects. And it's nice to have them back out again. But one impetus towards finding larger size boxes is to use larger size figures. Alright, so here are the larger Archer and Ajax style figures that I've painted or am beginning to paint, along with the mighty Crimson Clipper. You can see there the one in the middle, different orange than the other two so he was probably the first one that I'd gotten to. Looks like the other one needs some piping there. His flex points, maybe that one as well. You know, and I'll come back to paintings a year after I've done them and make changes. There's these two here are painted primarily with the iridescent stainless steel fine, and then detailed using the iridescent copper light fine. The Superman on the moon figure there at the end as well. And then I'm using the iridescent pearl fine to give the shades just sort of like a little extra shimmer, like especially the black on her gun up there. That's got a combination of iridescent blue fine, the pearl, and I always try to keep one patch of the plastic its original color. The faces are kept the original color. He's all silver to begin with, so I'm just working on the detailing of him, and I'm just noticing right there I got to clean up around that buckle or fixture a little bit, probably again with the iridescent stainless steel fine, which the Crimson Clipper also features as a way to have it sort of look like a burnished steel. All these are either Glencoe copies or Hong Kong copies, most of them damaged in some way. As you can see here, both of these are Glencoe copies. 1991, I believe, is the correct year. And I'm not sure how well the camera is going to show it, but you can sort of see how he's still kind of streaky and blotchy. He probably only has 1 or 2 coats of the orange on him, and then a spray coat to keep it down. And something that I forgot to mention when I was showing the 1:32 scale figures is that the better painted of these have 4 to 6 layers, and we're not using a wet brush to smear on an even coat of paint. It's more of a dry brushing effect where you're hitting up one little patch at a time for a cumulative effort, and you're going over those patches 4 to 6 times to get the kind of consistency and coverage on the plastic that's possible here. And once again, most of them have a metallic first coat put on it because that seems to stick, or at least that's the logic that my brain thinks of, is that those little jagged bits of reflective stuff might adhere to the smooth plastic surface a little bit better. And I like showing them in conjunction with Luke here, my 1979 Kenner Toys Luke Skywalker X-Wing fighter pilot, because that's probably where the orange spacesuit inspiration comes from. That vestigial memory when I was 10 years old. That's the color of a hero's spacesuit, orange. Go figure.